Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Random impromptu stream, but I am recording this because I have been requested to take a look at it and give my thoughts. I think this is the first actual, well, it's not the first video requested, but it's the first one requested that, like, I actually want to do. But we're going to take a look at the Ghost of Yotei State of Play gameplay deep dive. A lot of people have seen this, a lot of thoughts surrounding it. As a huge fan of Ghost of Tsushima, I'm hoping that it's good, and I'm hoping that they retain the gameplay of the first game. But we'll have to see, and we'll have to see what people say. I'm gonna watch other people's stuff after, but I got to get it done for myself. So let's dive into it. 60 FPS, that's good.
Hello everyone, this is Jason Connell and Nate Fox.
Okay, it says it's captured on PS5, not PS5 Pro.
Ghost of Tsushima was an honor to be a part of. And today, Nate and I get to share more about our next game, Ghost of Yotei.
I think I will actually just
we'll
keep
be sharing how we've crafted
on
the game around exploration while keeping Atsu's tale of vengeance front and center.
So we've got the main character's name, which is Atsu. I'm sure we already knew that. I didn't. There's a lot of people in this world that love to keep up on games as in depth as possible if they're really a huge fan of them. I'm not one of them. I don't live on social media, so this is the first time I'm hearing of the main character's name, Atsu.
We'll also talk about ghost combat and how it's evolved. And we'll introduce for the first time some new special modes of play.
How it's evolved.
Well, let's start things
Hopefully one of those special modes of play is Legends.
Off first by talking about a Japanese folk legend, the Onryo.
Onryo. The initial trailer was really good, so.
The people of Ezo believe Atsu is an Onryo, a wrathful ghost bent on revenge.
Well, she is.
And they're half right. Atsu doesn't care if she lives or dies, so long as she can punish the Yotei Six.
The Yotei Six.
A ruthless gang who slaughtered her family.
And pinned her to a tree.
After 16 years in the South, she's returned home to put their spirits to rest.
Graphically beautiful. Love it. And you know, this is the one thing that I don't understand from the initial trailer that was one of the biggest criticisms by a lot of the detractors was the fact that, oh, what? It looks just like Ghost of Tsushima. It doesn't look any better. Doesn't look any worse either. That's a compliment. And they said the same thing about God of War Ragnarok. Not looking any different than God of War 2018. So, was God of War 2018 and Ghost of Tsushima, were they not just phenomenal looking games? Why would you fix what ain't broken? That's just literally the common point is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ghost of Tsushima was one of the best looking games on the PS4, and to this day is still one of the best looking games ever made. God of War 2018, one of the best looking games ever made, and God of War Ragnarok followed suit. And so that can be added into that category of one of the best looking games ever made. So why would you change that if people liked it to begin with? Y'all are stupid, man. This game looks great.
It's warm memories of her family that propel her forward. When Atsu returns to her childhood home with the push of a button,
whoa,
you can experience
that's
those
cool.
cherished times.
That's pretty cool. So unlike in Tsushima where you experience Jin Sakai's past separate from the present, you can actually just flip between. See. Dude, it's these first-party studios that Sony has that are thinking outside the box. I don't think we've seen anything like this utilize the PlayStation 5's internal SSD and the power of the system like we saw with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That was like one of the few times, if not one of the only times, that we saw a developer really try and figure out how can we utilize this very intricate SSD system. There you go. Flipping between, they took what they did in Rift Apart, not these guys, obviously, that was Insomniac, but Sucker Punch took what they saw Rift Apart do. I think, personally, this might be an inspiration for them. They saw what Rift Apart did and said, how can we do something like that? There you go. That's cool, man. Let's see that again. Hold on.
With the push of a button, you can experience those cherished times.
I like that. I like how, yes, there's a stutter, there's a stoppage of time, but they did it so tactfully that you understand that it's swapping an entire world. It's literally changing the entire world. That's a lot to re-render in an instant to portray something completely different in the game. But they did it in a way where you see that there's a slowdown and then it comes in. So it's kind of like showing that you're changing things. So I like how they did it. It's not just an instant stop. You got like a second of delay and then it pops up. You know, in order to avoid having a fade to black and, you know, fade to picture sort of scenario, they had to kind of come up with a really clever way to slow down the game so it does that little transition and then pops back up. That's smart.
By giving you the freedom to explore Atsu's past, the wound of her loss becomes personal. It's that pain that pushes her forward. Hunting down the Yotei 6.
See, it's not perfect, but it's getting there. It's really
She'll
close.
face 1,000 blades. But the Onryo is relentless, and with each victory, the ghost story around her grows.
Now, the thing is that, again, it's not perfect. If more studios, and I mean first party, third party, doesn't matter. If more studios understood the hardware that they were working with the PS5, just like they needed to understand the PS3, very different development environment, very different hardware involved. This system is, the selling point on the PS5 was the SSD. It wasn't the GPU, it wasn't the CPU. Yes, we got up clocks and faster speeds on both the GPU and CPU, but the selling point for a lot of developers, at least what according to Mark Cerny, was the SSD. There had to be an SSD in the system. So they put it in there. If more developers actually utilize that SSD to where Insomniac and Sucker Punch have, we'd have far more interesting games coming out at this point. Like, I think this generation would have been seen as a really huge leap forward in gaming, where now we've got such fast storage, fast access to storage, that developers can do crazy things like this, changing between past and present, or like Rift Apart, changing from one area to another in an instant. This is a cool way to utilize the SSD and the PS5 as a whole. This is an innovative way. More developers needed to utilize the PS5's
Ghost of
SSD just
Yotei
like this.
focuses on player freedom more than any game Sucker Punch has ever made. But it's also a game that at its heart is inspired by so many of our favorite wandering samurai films.
I'm digging the setting
So
in
let's
this one.
start off by talking about exploration at the edge of Japan.
I believe they said that this one takes place in the 1600s. It's basically being seen as like the Wild West of Japan.
We all have different playstyles, so we set out
In a
to
way.
make an open world game that lets you drive your own experiences. Whether that's
colors,
your
man, the
curiosity to
colors.
wonder, your thirst for combat, or a deep desire to stay focused on the story.
I can appreciate the Kurosawa mode being added to Ghost of Tsushima, but I can't imagine playing either of these games without color.
As you explore, there's an underlying clue system that invites you to new adventures and new areas of the game that could be appealing to you.
Okay.
If you interrogate an enemy, choosing to
Okay.
ask about the Oni, you could uncover a landscape
Ah,
scarred
that's-
by fire
okay.
with more bold, samurai-like enemies to fight and abilities for Atsu to learn.
That's cool.
Or do you ask about the
They have an
Kitsune,
interrogation
that leads you
system.
to an area filled with snow and deception, enemies that ambush you, and new ninja-like tactics to study. Atsu draws cards for each clue to keep track of all available adventures. The more you play, the more the game unfolds for you. As she makes progress against the Yotei 6, her legend as the Onryo grows.
It's her.
Bounty will go up, drawing the attention of deadlier foes.
Are you lost?
I'm looking for some old friends. The Yotei 6.
Show her the door.
It would probably sound way better in Japanese.
There is a
Nothing against the main actress who's playing Atsu. She sounds like she's actually doing a really good job. But Ghost of Tsushima, while the English voice acting was actually superb, man, the Japanese just hits different.
hefty price on Atsu's head. Now, Atsu can also hunt down her own bounties that bring her all around the land. This is a lucrative way to make some money to fuel her vengeance quest.
Okay, you can see some of the frame rate drops. Motion blurs looks good. You can see some of the frame rate drops, so they have some optimization to do, especially when it has to do with, it looks like some alpha effects, so like fire and whatnot, definitely cause a stutter, a hitch there. But I'm glad they're showing higher frame rate, because then we at least get to see it. Because keep in mind, this game is, as far as I know, is not coming out on PS4. So, and if it is, that's impressive. But with the way that they're doing the whole past and present swapping, there's no way it could be done on the PS4.
You're not of Clan Eguchi. You're here for my bounty.
I absolutely love the combat system of Ghost of Tsushima, so I'm hoping that it's the same, but as he said, improved. But I really hope they didn't change too much. The whole thing about using the shoulder buttons to do heavy, light, I don't like that. I like square and triangle. Light attack on square, heavy attack on triangle. It just feels more
Hidden in
natural.
the world are altars of reflection. Finding one inspires Atsu.
Look at that
and
yellow,
unlocks
man.
a new ability to help her on the journey ahead. They are fun to find on their own, but for a quicker route, you can always buy a traveler's map from the cartographer.
What?
Ghost of Yotei
Okay.
isn't going to rush you through anything.
Good.
You can choose what motivates you most.
Everything. The platinum trophy.
But we think the best way to play is to simply pull out your spyglass, find something interesting on the horizon, and enjoy the ride.
That's right.
Dude, thinking about the people who complained that the game looked not that much better than Ghost of Tsushima, I don't understand where their brain is at. I really don't understand where their thinking is at, because this looks phenomenal. And I've always said this. It comes down to the art, not the pixels, not the polygons, the art. If the art assets are top tier like it is here, who cares how dense or how many polygons are in a model? It's gonna look good one way or another, because the art is what shows it off. Look at this! It's gorgeous. People are stupid, man. I call them stupid. They're ignorant, but they're also stupid because they open their mouth and their ignorance just comes out, and that makes them stupid.
The lands around Yotei are vast. It's not about checking it all off. It's about engaging in the content that gets you excited.
Classic bamboo strike.
Embrace that.
I guarantee you, we are not going to see her ass on screen. I'll be surprised if you guys remember playing Ghost of Tsushima and you get to a hot spring. It's all Jin Sakai ass in this little cutscene. I guarantee you we're not going to see her ass because that would be sexist.
Curiosity and let the wind guide you on your hunt.
If we do, I'll be surprised, man.
Ezo is a dangerous place. Atsu always wields a weapon.
I think everybody
As
always
for
wielded
which,
a weapon.
that's up to you. Will you choose a katana, spear, kusarigama,
I love
odachi?
the fact that now they're giving us options of weapons. Like we had the katana, and the bow in the first game, and then a myriad of like throwables like bombs and kunai and stuff like that. But this one, they're giving us a slew of melee options, so we don't just have to go with the katana, which I really like. I personally might go with the odachi. And actually, it's funny that I stopped it right here. The subtitles are all like reading katana, spear, kusarigama, which is basically a ball on a chain with a, I don't know, like a small scythe, whatever you call that. I can't remember. The odachi, which is a very long katana. It's like a long sword, or I wouldn't say a great sword, but it's like a long sword in medieval European terms. And the dual swords, which I'm sure are going to be a lot of fun, very fast, very kinetic, but I'd probably, because I'm a huge fan of like two-handed weapons, warhammers, fantasy warhammers, real warhammers weren't actually that big, axes and stuff like that. I'd probably go personally with the odachi.
Or dual swords. Each is uniquely effective against a particular enemy and has their own set of upgrades to discover and master.
Okay, so it says that it's particularly good against different types of enemies, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to just focus on one, maybe two, instead of having to like be like, oh, I got to swap between all these different weapons depending on the, the stances was fine. Let's leave it at the stances, like, unless those weapons are tied to those stances, then I'm okay with that.
Plant cyto banners.
So like you had moon stance, water stance, wind
Let's see
stance.
how she uses these weapons.
If each of those weapons is tied to
Searching for
each of those
leads
stances,
on
and it's
Lord
just as
Saito.
easy to swap between them like it is in the first game, like you hold R2 and push a face button, I'm down for that.
The soldiers needed more to free you.
Free us. Inokichi steals our crops while our families starve.
Atsu's no samurai or ninja. No. She's a lone wolf mercenary.
And you
who'll
can
use
throw
every
the
advantage,
spear,
every
nice.
dirty trick to win a fight.
See, I think that was one of the biggest issues with Ghost of Tsushima. And it wasn't a bad issue, but it was an issue nonetheless, which is you could choose to just be a samurai, but no matter whether or not you chose to honor the samurai code as a player, and just face your enemy head on, or if you chose to be an assassin, the story still played out the same, right? I would like for this game's story to reflect the choices that you make. I know that's a lot of what people ask for these days when they get their RPGs and their open worlds. They're like, can our choices mean something? And a lot of time developers will say, yes, they do, but then they really don't. I really hope that in this case, because you're a mercenary, you're not a samurai, you're not a ninja, you're not this, you're not that. There's no title that you're trying to uphold. You're not honorable. You're just a person trying to get your revenge. I'm hoping that whatever choices you make reflect in the story a little bit, at least the outcome of the story, the outcome is probably going to be the same, but how people react to you is different. That would be nice to see. Even if it doesn't change the story as a whole, it'd be nice to see your actions reflected in the other characters, the environment, whatever. You know, so like say if you choose to be a stand-up, you know, you take on samurai qualities even though you're not a samurai, you honor the killing in facing your enemy face to face, people will react to you in a different way as opposed to when you just go around stealth killing everybody.
Combat has the feel of a classic samurai movie.
I wonder if that's how you would block with two swords, if you'd hold one behind the other.
Every motion counts. It's about lethal precision.
The combat in Tsushima was top tier, so... Okay, so... Right there. She swaps to... You can see it is the same R2, and then... Okay, so instead of stances, they're going with weapons. Okay, alright. So that basically answers the question. It's not... Each weapon requires a different stance, so now instead of different stances, it's different weapons, because in the first game you only had one type of weapon, the katana. This time you've got different types of weapons, and those weapons have taken the place of stances. I like that. And there's even guns, because we're talking like 400 or 500 years after Jin Sakai's story, I think. So, right? Was that 11?
If an enemy
No.
swings hard, Atsu can lose her weapon.
Ooh, that's
But
different.
If she's quick, she can disarm them.
That's cool. So you always want to try and go for the disarm.
Choose
Oh!
the right weapon for the job. To fight a massive enemy, her huge Odachi blade is
That's where I'm at right there. Now, in the first game, you know, the different stances, same thing. Different stances for different types of enemies. But you could sort of get away with using stances for certain enemies that weren't for them. So, like, I personally like the moon stance, where it's usually meant for big brutish guys. But you could get away with using it against shield guys or literally almost anybody. It's just that the enemies would react differently. And because the moon stance is a slower stance, faster enemies could dodge your attacks a lot faster. So you'd want to really more or less... counter or block their attacks to get the advantage on them, even in that stance. But you could still use the stance that's not meant for them. So I'm wondering if that's the same here, where if I really wanted to focus using the Odachi, if that would be fine. But I probably wouldn't, to be honest, now that the weapons are the stances. I would want to use the right stance for the right job. My God. All right, that's impossible. You can't have the Suba, no, not Suba. I forget, there's a name for the sheath, but you can't have the sheath on your back with such a massive sword. That's impossible. You'd have to have it on your side. But that's a whole nitpick. You would store it on your back, but if you're going to use it, you're going to have it on your waist.
He looks like the one in charge.
Tonight, we feast!
Nice, yup. Yup. Nice. I like that. Chain kills.
Blades are great, but ranged weapons work too.
Bow.
Atsu's got an arsenal.
The bow is my boy. Oh man, we got guns now too. Like I said, it's the. I think if I'm correct, like correct me in the comments, but I think it's the 1600s. So now we're looking at guns.
A ghost.
Thrown weapons like kunai, bombs, or even blinding powder can give Atsu an edge.
Nice.
When enemies switch weapons, you'll have to adapt. Dual swords are best against spears.
Look at the lighting. Just the way the lighting plays off the mud and everything. It just looks amazing. Now, I don't know if they've mentioned this at all yet. I don't know if they're going to do ray tracing in this game. I'm kind of hoping they don't. But when you have a game where the time of day changes, ray tracing will make it easier, but old rasterization techniques work just fine. As long as they put in the work to optimize them.
No more!
Tell me what you know about Saito.
Atsu doesn't always fight alone. She'll meet several allies on her hunt,
Wolves.
including a mysterious wolf.
Do we still have standoffs? That's what it looks like. Yeah, we do. So standoffs are still a thing. That's good.
Atsu can set up camp under the stars.
That was
of
like,
Echo.
that was easily one of the biggest selling points for Tsushima, was that you could stand off against multiple enemies and just chop them down.
But she's not always alone.
Hey, friend. Share your fire with the traveling peddler?
What are you selling?
A mask said to be cursed with the unpredictable nature of its previous owner.
Camping under the stars is a great way to rest up, play your
a little
shamisen,
mini
or
games.
cook to ready for a fight ahead.
I like that. So it
It's
looks like they're, based on what he just said about the cooking, it sounds like they're going to go with like a Monster Hunter style system where if you cook a meal, a certain type of meal, it'll get you certain bonuses. Maybe. He said cook a meal for the to ready for the next fight, so that's pretty cool.
Also designed to help bring important characters and upgrades straight to you. In fact, in place of the journal menu from Ghost of Tsushima, we've opted for a more character-driven way of managing
I like the
allies
art,
and
dude. Look at
vendors
the
that
art
you
on
need in
this,
Azeroth.
man.
Over time, Atsu grows to have her own wolf pack. And here, you can keep track of when a sensei might have a weapon skill for you, or when a vendor has something unique to sell.
Oh, that's nice.
Managing upgrades, resources, when to buy what, can be a burden in a big open world game. At campsites, members of your wolf pack can catch up with you, offering upgrades and unique items. This helps ensure you have every opportunity to upgrade and prepare for Atsu's vengeance quest ahead. You don't have to leave where you're exploring, the game comes to you.
That's cool. So it takes the tedium, some of the tedium out of open world, where it's like, instead of, like you said, instead of you going to the place where you need to buy things, they'll come to you instead of you having to go off track. That's a little bit better. That's not bad. I personally don't mind, as long as there's a fast travel system. Obviously, it's not really that bad to just, especially on the PS5, to just fast travel to a town to buy things. But that's not a bad idea to kind of pare back that whole aspect of the game and just make it so that everybody comes to you instead.
While exploring Ezo, you'll discover all sorts of new armor, charms, and gear. Perfect for building up Atsu around your chosen playstyle.
If there's one of the best things about Tsushima, it's the cosmetics. The cosmetics are so cool, man. Even the smaller cosmetics, just the colors and stuff like that, just the ones that are just color changes, are better than most games these days. Hey, Chris.
Are you stealth, ranged, or melee focused? Find and combine the pieces that are just right for you. And of course, customize the look of your armor and weapons
Love it.
to make sure that your version of Atsu looks and fights just the way you want.
Nice. I like that. That's cool. That's awesome. That's dope. I love how they had to specify this is not actual gameplay right here. Music, I mean, the music is just top
The
tier.
score of Ghost of Yotei is incredibly special to us.
Masato Shibata.
Our amazing composer, Toma Otoa, has created a mashup of Eastern instrumentation with Western flavors.
Was he the composer of the first game too?
Brought to life through an exciting collaboration of many talented artists.
でこうダウンビートまで
That's it.
If you like what you heard, we're releasing 2 tracks featured in today's State of Play on your
Nice.
favorite streaming service immediately after the show.
I mean, it's top tier music, man. You can't help but bop. Here we go. All right. Do they have Legends? Is Legends still a part of the special modes? Let's find out. I hope it is. Obviously, photo mode. I love the photo mode.
The photography community for Ghost of Tsushima is incredible. We're happy to have photo mode back in Ghost of Yotei and look forward to seeing
relatively the same, which is fine, because, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
We want playing through Ghost of Yotei to feel like stepping inside of your favorite classic samurai films.
Samurai cinema.
So, from the beginning of the game, we're happy to offer a full Japanese voice track with full lip sync
that
you can play with subtitles.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, in the first game, if you played it in Japanese like I did, the cutscenes were all lip sync to English, so it didn't really work in that sense. I think in-game mouth lip sync was to Japanese, though. I could be wrong, but yeah, it's nice to see that they actually went the extra mile this time and said, you know what, we're gonna have full lip sync for Japanese too. The one thing I'm hoping, and maybe they're just showing this off because like they were in quality mode or something for these cutscenes. I'm hoping that the cutscenes match the game frame rate. So if the game's gonna be at 60, then the cutscenes should be at 60. But if they are pre-rendered, that'll at least be better on, you know, the game side of things, where it doesn't have to render this all out and they have to cut the frame rate. Pre-rendered cutscenes, I personally have always been a huge advocate for, because you can make it look as awesome as you want it to. But the downside is that it does not match the gameplay frame rate. So if you're gonna allow us to play the game at 60 FPS, I feel like if they are real-time cutscenes, you should probably let them play at 60 FPS as well.
To take the feeling of stepping into a classic samurai cinema experience one step further, we are honored to once again partner with acclaimed director Akira Kurosawa's estate for Kurosawa Mode, which emulates his classic black and white films.
Which, again, I can appreciate it. I would never play the games like this.
For Ghosts of Yotei, we wanted to celebrate two other influential directors who have had an impact on the genre as a whole.
Well, I was gonna say Quentin Tarantino, but that's probably not it. Tarantino mode?
First, we've partnered with Takeshi Miike, director of 13 Assassins.
I still gotta see that movie.
The camera closer during combat for a more intense, raw experience, along with
I thought the camera looked closer.
And blood splatter. And lastly, we've partnered with the director of Samurai Champloo, Shinichiro Watanabe. Turn this mode on to listen to some original lo-fi tracks directed by Watanabe himself.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know if it fits the game, but it's cool. That's an anime I really probably should look at. I've never actually watched it. I wasn't really interested in it back in the day. Oh, that frame rate, though. They got some work to do.
There's so many ways to make your Ghost of Yotei playthrough your own. But no matter how you play, here's one way to experience Ghost of Yotei that is sure to be special.
Dramatization. Duh. Please tell me it's Legends mode, dude. Come on. Oh, that's the, yeah, special edition. October 2nd. 2 different versions. Not bad. Can you get that in PS5 Pro? Which will probably cost you $1,000.
Today, you've got a glimpse into Atsu's hunt for the Yotei 6. Forge your own path while discovering the secrets of Ezo. To survive, you'll need to master a variety of weapons, using lethal precision to overcome the odds and take revenge as the Onryo. Ghost of Yotei comes out on October 2nd. Thank you so much for watching.
Yep. And wouldn't you know it, it still looks better than AC Shadows. That was the PS5 Pro? Because it didn't look like it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Will I be pre-ordering this? I guess to maybe get a physical copy, I will. That's not the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro has 3 of these things on it. Unless they actually said it was PS5 Pro. Did they say it was? Look at this. Product vertical stand sold separately. So dumb. No, because the PS5 Pro does not have an attached disk drive, unless they're just showing that. So this is the Slim. Still cool. I'd probably get this one, but still cool. Beautiful. I wonder if this will probably be like what does the standard PS5 cost? Like $350, $4, $5. I don't know. I don't know what the price is of the standard PS5 anymore. That's awesome. That looks great to me. Again, the gripes that people had about the original trailer make no sense to me. Because just like God of War, if it looked good before, why would you change the way it looks? It has its own identity. It has its own vision. So changing the look of a game series to suit people's wants for like, oh, this should look way better. How does this not look good? Objectively. Like, that's what's really messed up about this, is that people think that this objectively looks bad. Not even close, dude. People will probably throw out that stupid argument, oh, it looks like a PS3 game. Do you remember what the PS3 looked like? Like, that's not even close. I can't stand people's arguments these days. They just completely, they fall apart the moment that you show them how wrong they are. But videos are muddy because they zoom in on a YouTube video. Yeah, like, I mean, you're not getting, people are dumb. DEI. She sounds like she does a really good job to me. Like, and I was saying that earlier in the video, you weren't here, but I'm gonna upload this later. That she sounds like she's actually doing, like a proper accent. Japanese accent. I've never heard the woman speak before. I don't know if she already has that accent, but like, she sounds like she's actually doing the role really well. I just won't be listening to it because I'd rather listen to Japanese. But it sounds like she's doing a good job to me. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. Who cares? As long as they do their job, it doesn't matter. And it sounds like she's doing a good job. So, you know, DEI, not even close. This ain't even close. This is a classic revenge story being told from a female perspective, which is fine. She looks like a badass to me, right? So that's just people being dumb. Just like they're dumb with, oh, this doesn't look better. It doesn't look good. It looks just like Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. What else would you want it to look like? So that's my rebuttal to that. Grow up, people. This game looks phenomenal. It looks better than AC Shadows. Hell, Ghost of Tsushima looked better than AC Shadows, in my opinion. But, again, that's just, you have to look at it objectively. And objectively, this looks good. visually speaking, it looks really good. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy. We're gonna be watching the Asmongold stuff after this because I'm doing my laundry, so I don't want to get like deep into playing any games yet. But we're gonna take a look at some of the reactions to this. Shohei Kondo put out a video. I want to know what he thinks. And of course, Asmongold, you said, put out a video. I saw that he put it out, so I'm gonna take a look at that and see what he has to say, because apparently it's not very good. So, but that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I would say join me again in the next one, but things are changing here on the channel, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna continue doing reaction and first impression videos on the regular. It'll be more of like, you know, order to go sort of thing. So if you guys have any suggestions of things you want to see me react to, leave it in the comments down below. Give me some suggestions if you'd like, and I'd be happy to oblige. But until then, I'm Adam Wolf. This is Ghost of Yotei, and I'll see you guys later.